Now that you've configured your browser and made sure that it's fully compatible with MindTap, purchased your access code, registered your access code, and made sure everything's in order, it's time to proceed into the meat of the course itself. As you progress through each module of this course, you'll find a number of items. The MindTap items can be recognized by this purple box with the arrow going towards the center of it. Note the description of each item. So for reading assignments, it clearly says Reading Assignment Chapter 3. That'll be followed by additional resources, which are your study tools. Finally, at the end of the module, you'll find a graded activity, which is the pronunciation assignment. In order to access the content, simply click on it. When you do so, a new tab will launch right next to the tab where you're in D2L. If you need to get back to D2L for any reason, simply click on that tab, click on the appropriate module, and you'll be taken back to the content. In this first example, we've accessed the ebook, and the ebook has several useful functions which you'll want to know about. When you first access a chapter, it'll take you to this page. This page lists the sections contained within the chapter. Navigation can be achieved by one of three ways. The first method involves going page by page. Simply click on the arrow located over here in the middle of the screen on the right hand side, and to go back, click on its corresponding opposite twin to go a page back. You can also quickly navigate to a section by using the table of contents listed here, finding the section that you want to go to, and clicking on it. To return back to the chapter of contents, simply click on Chapter of Contents, where you'll be returned to the first page. Finally, you can also use the progress bar down here, which will track your progress. As you complete each section, these boxes will turn blue. You can also use it to quickly navigate to a section in particular. As you complete the sections, if you were to leave the ebook and then return at a later date, it will automatically take you to the last section you had been into. So just remember, to get back to the beginning, simply click on Chapter Contents, and that'll return you back to the very first page. Now there are some important things to note as you navigate through the e-text. First and foremost, with any charts or graphs, you may notice that it has a cutoff icon down here where the page looks torn. In order to see that full image, simply click on the plus sign where you can see the full chart. To get back to the ebook, click on this icon located in the upper right hand corner, at which time you'll be returned to the textbook. Because this text is an e-text, you'll also find interactive components of it. For example, under word parts, if you click on a underlined blue term, it'll provide you with a definition. Notice down here, in a bold underlined term, you have a speaker next to it. This means that the term has a pronunciation associated with it. In order to access that, simply click on the icon, the speaker icon, where it says Play Audio, and you'll hear a pronunciation of the term. Another useful feature is the fact that the textbook can be converted into an audio text. In order to have the text read to you, click on the Read Speaker icon located here. When you do so, you see here the play function. It'll read to you the entire chapter until you indicate it to stop. You can do so by clicking on the pause button. You can also change how it's read to you by using this app over here called the Read Speaker app. When you click on the Read Speaker app, it'll launch a configuration script where you can choose the speed at which it's read to you, either slow, medium, or fast, and what kind of voice, either male or female. If you find that the text is too small to read, you can enlarge the text by clicking on the letters indicated here. Currently we're on the smallest font. This is the medium font, and that's the largest of the three. If you like to take notes, simply left click and hold on a given passage and then release your mouse, at which point you'll be given highlighting color options. Choose a color, click on it, and then that passage will be highlighted. You can also add a note. Simply left click, choose Add Note, and leave yourself a note for later. If there's a term that you wish to have described for you, highlight that term, release the mouse, and click on Dictionary. If you'd like to add a flashcard, same process, highlight the term, release the mouse, and click on Add Flashcard. There you'll want to type in the key term and the definition. Any highlighting and notes that you make can be retrieved by going here to the Study Hub. When you click on the Study Hub, it'll take you to this screen called the Study Guide. Proceed to the Notes and Highlights, and there you'll see all highlights and notes that you've made by chapter. So if I click on Chapter 3, I see that in section 3.3c, I've made some notes. I click on that. There's my note. There's my highlighted passage. If I need to delete that, simply click on the Delete button. If I would like to print this as a study guide, click on Print. And to return back to that passage in the text, simply click on this blue arrow, and that will return you to the textbook itself. When you've reached the end of the chapter, if there's anything you need to print out and have on paper, you can utilize the print function here. Or if you're done, simply click on the Tab Close button, at which time you'll be taken back to D2L. Next, we'll take a look at some of the study tools that have been included in the course. Our first study tool will be instructional videos. To access the videos, simply click on the link, whereupon you'll be taken to MindTap and presented with a list of videos. These are for your use in learning the materials from a visual perspective. To open the video, simply click on it and click on the play button. Notice that the video plays like any other internet video. To start and stop it, you have a pause button or a play button. You can advance if you would like. You have closed captioning options here, a transcript here, volume control here, and you can also go full screen by clicking on the full screen icon. To get out of the full screen icon, simply click Escape and you'll be returned back to normal screen. To see other videos, select this X located in the upper right hand corner, whereupon you'll be taken back to the list of videos available for that chapter. Once done with the videos, close the tab, return back to the section and module where you were studying from, and proceed on to the next topic. Your next resource are flashcards and practice activities. In particular, you'll want to pay attention to the flashcards, as that is probably the most useful study tool for this particular discipline. To access the resources, simply click on the link. A new tab will open up, and you'll be taken to the study tools. Notice the diversity of activities you have at your disposal. Flashcards are just that, a digital version of the tried and true study tool known as flashcards. Beat the Clock is a game that you can challenge yourself to come up with the correct term within a given time period. Image labeling are diagrams where you drag a dot and you correspond that to the proper body part. The Learning Labs is an immersive activity that will take you into a real-world medical setting where you can apply the skills that you've learned in that particular chapter. Test Yourself is a practice test, multiple choice, true and false, and fill in the blank, where you can practice for the eventual midterm and final exams. Finally, the pronunciation review is very similar to the pronunciation test, except this covers every single term within the chapter. Highly recommend that you take advantage of the pronunciation review, which can also be accessed vis-a-vis your smartphone. So let's take a look at a couple of these tools. For the flashcards, simply click on the link to open the flashcards, and here you'll find the deck. The number of cards will vary from chapter to chapter, but typically it'll range from about 60 to 110. To work with the flashcards, simply click on the card to see what the answer is. If you've become familiar enough with that term and you no longer want it to be part of your deck, you can hide the card. You can also create a new card if you wish. When you're ready to proceed to the next card, click on Next Card, and there, study that term. Using the gear wheel here, note that you can print the deck of cards if you wish. You also have the ability to show definition first as opposed to key term. When you're done with the flashcards, simply click on the X located in the upper right hand corner, and that will return you back to your study tools. The image labeling activities can be accessed simply by clicking on the item, click Start Assignment Now, at which time a diagram will be presented before you. For this exercise, simply drag and drop the appropriate term to its correlating body part. Notice down here you have the ability to check your work while you're taking the activity. For the Learning Labs, to access the Learning Labs, click on it, click Start Assignment, and then click Continue. In this case, I'll retake the assignment. You always start a Learning Lab with what's called a pre-assessment. This is a no harm done way to test if you know what these terms mean. When you click Submit, it'll indicate that you've got the answer correct or you've missed it. And there's about 15 to 25 of these questions. Notice also it will show you the correct answer as well. So after you've taken the pre-assessment, you'll be presented with the learning activities, which are a series of real-world activities where you'll be in an actual medical facility with medical workers, learning why medical terminology is so important. So let's take a minute and go ahead and listen to the following.
There you are. Thanks for coming down. Although we could have...
After you've taken the pre-assessment, you'll be taken to the learning activities, which are a series of real-world simulations. In other words, you'll be in an actual medical facility learning why medical terminology is important for that specific chapter. As you can see here, in this particular learning labs, you'll be assuming the role of a radiology technician, and you'll spend the day helping out in a hospital's radiology department. When you hit Continue, you'll be taken to a video that will explain the situation. Once you've reviewed the video and been given your assignment, you'll click Continue to proceed on to the actual learning activity. In this case, we're looking to take an X-ray of the acetabulum. So we'll click Take X-ray and we'll find the relevant body part. Notice, as I choose a distinct body region, it'll highlight. And then once I think I've got the right one, I'll click Take X-ray. It'll tell me if either I was correct or incorrect. I'll then continue on to the next exercise. And we're looking for this. Nope, try again. Now, while this exercise is strictly practice, the more you miss, the angrier your mentor is going to be. The mentor was the individual who introduced you to your assignments for the day. So if you did what I just did, which is miss about 20 times, you're not going to get the best review at the end of it. But notice, once you get it right, it will affirm what that information is. Spondylitis means inflammation of the vertebrae, which obviously correlates to the spine. Each learning lab has about 3 of these activities. everything from translating medical records to performing x-rays, so on and so forth. At the conclusion of the 3 activities, the learning exercises, you'll be taken to a post-test, which is very similar to the pre-test, and the activity will be completed. It's a great practice tool, and I encourage you to take advantage of it. Once you're done with Learning Labs, close the window that it's operating in, and then close this window by clicking in the upper right-hand corner, and you'll be taken back to the remainder of the study tools. When done with the study tools, simply close the tab itself, return back to the module in which you began, and move on to the next topic. The final thing we're going to discuss today is the pronunciation assessment. Now, this activity actually counts towards your grade. As indicated in a different video concerning the MindTap mobile app, you can take this activity on your phone. If you choose to take it on a computer instead, simply click on the link here. MindTap will once again open in a second tab and will be taken to the activity. Note, when you're working on a PC or a Mac, with this activity, it's important to pay attention to these instructions. As indicated in my prior instructions, Firefox or Chrome are the best bets when it comes to your browser choice. When you're ready to proceed, click Start Assignment Now. In the following screen, you'll want to pay particular attention to your browser configurations. This activity operates using Adobe Flash Player. So for those Mac users out there, you'll definitely want to download the Adobe Flash app for Safari. If you're using Google Chrome or Firefox, you should be in good shape. You'll want to test that though. So down here you have an audio configuration test utility. To configure your settings, click Record Audio Test. When you do, that will automatically open up your Adobe Flash Player settings. Here, you'll want to follow this diagram located in the upper right hand side and make sure to click Allow and Remember. Then click Close. Now you're ready to perform a test. Let's see if it works. Test, test. As you can see, the green bar is active. That means my audio settings are configured and working correctly. To complete the test, click Stop, and then now click on the Here button. Next, you'll be taken to the assessment itself. Here, you'll see the terms that you're being quizzed on, of which there's usually about 15 of them. Each term can be heard first and then repeated. So in this case, I'm going to take a shot at this. I'm going to listen to it.
Acetabulum.
Acetabulum. Okay, one more time.
Acetabulum.
Okay, I think I'm ready to record it. Acetabulum. At that point, I'm going to be evaluated. Here's my confidence score down here. The confidence required, or the passing threshold, is 54, and I got a 56. So I'm graded as passing on that particular pronunciation. If I want to try again, I can just do it again. Let's listen to it.
Acetabulum.
Acetabulum. Did much better on that one. And that's the point of this activity, right? To practice and practice until you nail the specifics of the term. The first time I went through, I put too much emphasis on the front part of this term and not enough on the tab. Second time round, I changed the way I pronounced it. My confidence score went up. When you're taking this activity, just remember, you click play to begin the recording and then you click stop to end it. Once you're ready to proceed to the next term, note I've got a green check mark on this. I'll click next and it's on to the next term to be tested on. Once you're complete, you'll want to click submit to complete the assignment. That will post your grade into MindTap, and that grade will eventually, within an hour or so, be transmitted into your D2L gradebook. Just remember that the grade transferal is not automatic. It takes an hour or so for the grade to transfer from the MindTap gradebook over into the D2L gradebook. You can always check your grade in MindTap. So if you see a grade in MindTap, it's eventually going to show up in the D2L course. If it doesn't, contact your instructor and we'll make sure to get it transferred through. When you've completed the pronunciation test, simply close the tab here, return back to the section in the module, and proceed to the next topic. And that concludes this video regarding the MindTap tools, ebook, and assessments contained with each and every chapter of this course. Best of luck with the semester.